Hey ladies, I'm coming to you with a review over this for this Crafter's Edge die cutting machine for fabric and paper. And I was reached out by the product manager and she sent me this so that I can give my review, my thought process on this machine. So it was put inside of a huge box. I just took it out just to save time. So you get the machine, you get a little wait, this actually came, okay, this was part of the, let me show you that in a minute. That's not part of this. Sorry. So you get your instructions, owner manual. You get this fabric die cut, which is a pretty big one. If you see that right there, it's pretty big. Okay. And you get your adapter, or I mean, you get your, the thicker bottom plate, your acrylic plate, and your metal adapter plate. Those are the three things that you get. You do not get the two clear ones like we're used to with our cutting system with like Sizzix or even Cuttlebug. We always had two acrylic plates. You do not get that with this one right here. So the dies you can use are paper cutting thinlit dies, fabric dies, and steel rule dies are the three types of dies that you can run through this machine. And I'm going to show you with each one of these how they cut. And then also too, on here you get the directions. For instance, it tells you all the different things you can cut. Look at that: cotton, felt, craft felt, wool felt, burlap, quilt, fusible web, lace, leather, magnet sheets, mounting board, quartz sheet, faux leather, and then these are a few other ones as well. Also too, it will tell you the setting, because this is based on pressure. You can change the pressure of the machine depending on what type of material you are using. So it'll tell you what number to put and how many layers you can put. So if you have thin cotton, you can put 7 layers and run it through one time. So it'll tell you how many layers. Right here it has 6+ for fusible web that you can cut through there. And it'll tell you if you can only put one. Like for the corrugated chipboard, the mounting board, since those are thicker materials, you can only do one at a time. So it does tell you that type of information. Also too, it has a troubleshooting. If something goes wrong and it's one of these things, these are your answers on how to troubleshoot first. If in case you've done all that, doesn't work, here is all the information, which is pretty cool because some places are really hard to get in touch with to get help on things when we purchase them. So this is all their information and as well. Okay, so let's go ahead and get into the machine. And all right, so this right here is like a Tiffany blue. It comes in, there's not like you have multiple colors. This is the color you get, and this is how it looks on the side. You have these rubber pieces that are back here, so when they're laid open, this is what is touching your surface. Like if you were like this table I have right here is a huge table, but it's all glass. So this right here would be the one going onto the glass. If you have a wooden table, then this is what touches it, not the plastic part of these that open. Okay. So it looks exactly the same on one side as opposed to the other. And then right here, you have this handle here, okay? Now, if you need to package this up to go or something, there's a little lever down here at the bottom, and you push it towards that way, and this lifts up. Okay, so that you can package this back in the box it came in, or just package it in whatever little, whatever you're packing your crafty stuff in. And then all you do is you push it down and it snaps, and now it's back to not being going back up. This right here cuts really, really, really easy. Really easy, as though you can't even tell that you just cut through it. So that's pretty nifty. Now, here's where my concern lies on my first concern is right here. You hear that? That's Velcro that's holding this together. Now, the problem I have with that is that I don't feel that you should have, this thing weighs, I think, like, I don't know if it's 20 pounds. It's really super heavy. And let me see, I wanted to be a little more accurate with the heaviness of it, but it's pretty heavy. And so this right here, opening and closing it a bunch of times as you use it through the course of time, this Velcro is just not going to stay. It's not going to stay for long. So that's what I don't think is a good thing. And I don't think by us replacing it with the Velcro we get, they're always going to be a problem. I just don't feel that Velcro is a good option when you're trying to hold together something like this. Paper projects, yes, but not a machine like this. So that was my first concern. And my second concern is that when you open it, okay, now that it's open, now, of course, when we open it, we're going to always be mindful to be careful and do it this way, right? We're going to hold it together. But do you see how it just opens and falls down? There is like the Cuttlebug, when you open that one, it's kind of like a slight pressure so that it goes all the way down, and you have to push it down. It doesn't just fall open. This one just falls open. There's nothing to, if you accidentally just flip it open, it'll fall down. So I felt that this should have had like some type of pressure to where it would just come down easier as opposed to just falling down. That was my second concern. My third concern, I'm going to give the goods and the bads. I don't want to say bads, but concerns. Let's use concerns. Is that this right here is not a flat surface. Like when you have your Cuttlebug, it's flat all the way through here, all the way through here. So when you are transferring your plates through, it stays leveled the whole time. Here, it's not going to stay leveled. Right here, you see, oops, right here, you see, and then it has right here, there's another group. So if you accidentally, let's say we have like a die that we're using and there's like 10 pieces to this die to make something, right? So we lay all of those pieces on here with all of our different pieces of paper, and we run it through, and if by chance you just happen to like nick this side right here, on accident or whatever it is, it'll go down, and then it just doesn't, it's not flat all the way through. And I don't understand why this would be open through here. I'm thinking that this right here should have been flush all the way through, flat, going all the way through. So that was a little of a concern to mine, and because when you're running it through, for instance, I'm just going to do it on a scrap piece of paper. This is just a 65-pound weight cardstock, right? We don't need that plate. We need this plate here. Then we're supposed to put the piece of paper, my Sizzix Biggs die, put it on top, and then our adapter plate. That's the sandwich. Okay? Now I'm going to have it so you can see when it runs through. Okay, so as you're running it through, okay, this right here is super smooth. I cannot complain about that. I already have the pressure setting to where it needs to be, which is a 17 for the Biggs die. Like, I'm literally just using a couple fingers. I don't have to hold it like this and put my back into it. Just a couple fingers. It really does move smooth. Okay, and then we take this out. Oops. So right here, I should have been paying attention. I was still paying attention to something else. It comes out flimsy when you're running it through, which is a little concern. But see, it does cut out. This is just a 65. I didn't run through what do you call it? I didn't go through 110 on this one, but I did run through a 110. So you'll see that this is what it cuts out like butter. There's no problems with that. So as far as the pressure point of this, I can't say anything negative. It's pretty stinking cool that you can change that pressure depending on the material that you are using. I don't like how this is so flimsy like that. Especially for those of us that are trying to use multiple dies to cut through at one time. If you make a mistake and you just end up hitting one of these things, everything's gonna fall through. And when you're putting the pressure on these to go through, this right here automatically it goes down like this. See, it hits this first. It's not flush to go up here. It hits that first, then it moves up. So it goes down like this and then goes up through the pressure. from the pressure of it. Okay, so that's just a concern to me when using multiple dies in one push through, but it does cut like butter. I cannot say that it doesn't. So right here, let's go ahead and turn it right here. Also too, for women that happen to be elderly, that do a lot of quilting, a lot of things to die cutting of fabric, this machine is a little heavy for them. So, and I tend to see a lot more elderly ladies doing that. And if you have even carpal tunnel or arthritis or just, you know, pain in your hands or your arms, this is heavy. It's a heavy machine because this right here is solid metal. It's not plastic. But because of the pressure, I'm going to assume that's why they had to do that. But it is a heavy machine. So for an elderly lady, I don't know if this would be easy for her to handle and pick up unless someone did it for her. For me, I'm fine with it. It's not a big deal. But in time, as I get older, it'll catch up to me. So that was another slight concern, is how heavy it is for people that are elderly, or even if you're not elderly and let's say you got arthritis at a younger age or any type of pain in your arms, this is heavy. Okay, right here you will see that there are pressures. Okay, these are the different settings for the different pressures. Oops. So there's a bunch of different numbers here. All of those are geared, let's push this back, by this rolly thingy right here. This right here is what moves this. Okay, so you can change it and put it to whichever setting you need depending on the fabric or material it is that you're sliding through here. Okay, so that's pretty cool. That's probably my favorite thing of this whole thing, is that I have control over the pressure. You know, for us, when we use our Sizzix, we have to use shims, and sometimes the shim doesn't do it, or you have to add an extra piece of paper to that shim, or whatever it is. Sometimes we have to figure it out ourselves so that the pressure will be hard enough to cut through. This right here, you have that option already built into the system. So that is actually pretty stinking amazing. I really truly like that feature on here. Okay, so for instance, I went ahead and I cut fabric, well, felt. Okay, so right here, I just layered them. I used this die that she had sent me, and I really, really love this die. And I'm a fan of this designer already, so it was really cool that I seen her an option to pick something from her, which was Tammy Tudoro, and it's right here is these posies. And this is a fabric die. Okay, so that's what you get with it. So I wanted to do that because I wanted to be able to build flowers. So that's what I did, and I used felt. And I used MFT felt, which is probably like a more of a 2mm. Felt does run in measurements, so it's more like a 2mm felt, which cuts like butter. I love MFT. They're the best felt that I've tried. This right here is a 2mm from Joann's, which is it's as thick as this one, but it frays. It's too fuzzy, but it cut through it like butter. No fault of the own of the machine. It's just because of the felt. But this is how it cuts. It's really pretty. It cut through like nothing. I didn't even feel anything when I ran it through. I didn't even know that it was done correctly until I looked at it and I'm like, oh my gosh, it cut through. I didn't hear or feel anything. So that was pretty stinking cool. I'm used to the cracking of my plates on Sizzix to know that, yeah, I got a good cut. So that was pretty nifty. I totally enjoyed that. It's super cute. I love this one. This is really stinking cute. I also ran through my 110-pound cardstock as well. So I also was sent these Thinlit dies. Now you'll see they're all bowed. It bowed them pretty badly on the machine, so I can never put these back on magnetic sheets again because they're not going to lay flat. So that's kind of a bummer that it does that, and I did put it on the correct setting to run a 110-pound. I put it under the setting of chipboard because they didn't have an option in there for 110, only a 65-pound cardstock, but not a 110. So I geared that towards, you know, chipboard. And that's a number 7 on this pressure point. So when I did slide it through, it cut like butter. Again, I didn't feel it, didn't know anything, but it takes a beating on the Thinlit dies, those wheels. So, you know, and it's probably better to do it this way. You see how that is? It bowed all three of them. So for storage now, I can never put it in on a magnetic sheet. So that kind of is a bummer that the Thinlit dies, it ruins them in that aspect. I mean, they can still cut. It's not going to change the cutting of them, but now it's just going to be harder to lay it down because it's going to always want to pop up. But anywho, so it cut through those three like no problem. You've seen that it cut through the no, you didn't see me do it. Did you see me? I don't even remember. This isn't my first time doing this video. I was like, no, I missed something. But, you know, it did cut through these like no problem with the Sizzix Bigs. So that wasn't an issue. So it does cut through the cardstock. I cannot say that it doesn't. It's not an issue. You just got to be very mindful of the pressure setting on which material you're using. So, I really feel like this is maybe geared more so towards fabric and quilting and stuff like that. But it's pretty, it's a good machine. I cannot say that it's not. It cuts through, those were the only things, the thing that it falls down. It doesn't gradually go down. It is pretty heavy. So that's kind of a hard thing for a lot of women that are unable to carry a machine so heavy to move around through, to go to crops, to go wherever it is that you want to go to take this with you. And also too, the Velcro, I feel like it should be some type of latch system that closes these together and not Velcro. Velcro wears out in time. It will not last for a very long time. And then this right here, I felt should have been flush, flat all the way through. It shouldn't be gaps like this, especially for the paper cutting world, because we use multiple dies in one run. So we want to make sure that they stay in that same place from the beginning to the end and not have to hit one of these because the plate went down. And you see that when it comes through, it hits right here. It does not go up. So it'll hit here and then it goes up. So those are like my primary concerns. Other than that, it cuts. It does its job, and it cuts like butter. So I can't say that it has any issues in the cutting system. It's a little harsh on your Thinlit dies. But aside from that, that's my review on this. Thank you so much, Michaela, if you're watching this video. She was the one that reached out to me and sent me all these amazing goodies to play with. And I truly had a blast working with it, trying to figure it out since it's something that's so new to me, because it is different than our other die cutting machines that we work with. So I super appreciate that you allowed me to play with this and figure things out. And I had a blast figuring it out. That's it. And it's new, you know, it's the pressure plates that are on, or the pressure wheel that's on there. It's amazing. So other than that, that is my review on this crossover number 2 by Crafter's Edge. Thank you guys so much. If you have questions, hopefully Michaela will be reviewing this and she could answer those for you in the comments, because like I said, I only know what's here. I don't know all the ins and outs. So if there are questions, feel free to leave them. And I could always ask Michaela to go through my comments and answer them, because she would be the most experienced to be able to answer them correctly as opposed to me. So thank you guys so much for watching. And again, thank you, Michaela, for allowing me to have this amazing machine to work and play with and to do my review. Have an amazing and blessed Sunday, ladies. Bye.